10 Naruto characters with the worst chakra control, ranked. An underrated facet of Naruto is how chakra control impacts battle. Here are 10 characters with the worst chakra control in the series. Ranked. An underrated facet of Naruto is how chakra control impacts battle. Some of the strongest fighters in the series are such because their chakra control is godly, such as Madara or Naruto himself. They've all hit levels that allow them to pull off feats that few ninjas could. That's not to say those without good chakra control can't be powerful. Taijutsu experts can be some of the most feared. And the same holds true for Kenjutsu experts like the 7 Swordsmen of the Mist. They weren't weaklings but were some of the weakest when it came to chakra control. Here are 10 characters with the worst chakra control in the series. Ranked. 10. Might Guy is a master of taijutsu and doesn't need high chakra control. The poster boy for taijutsu will always be Might Guy. He's the man who taught Rock Lee to open the 8 gates and trained Ten in most of her weaponry. He's also the proof that poor chakra control doesn't make you weak, as he supplemented it perfectly with his use hand-to-hand combat. His fight with Madara pushed the Uchiha more than even Naruto or Sasuke did, earning a well-deserved compliment from the villain. He even managed to learn a few ninjutsu, such as summoning tortoises. 9. Yoroi could steal other people's chakra as his reserves were low. Most won't remember Yoroi as he was a rather forgettable character, but he was part of Kabuto's team during the Chunin exams and fought against Sasuke there. His technique was that he could absorb energy through touch, helping bolster his chakra reserves. This took some level of control to pull off, but the fact that it was the extent of his power tells a lot about his capabilities. As does the fact he was handled by Sasuke easily. 8. Kimimara's chakra control was low due to his weak body. As the strongest of the Sound Four, Kimimaro is one of the more underrated villains in the series. His battle with Gaara and Rock Lee was entertaining and showed just how talented he was as a fighter. His Kekkei Genkai made him highly dangerous to deal with and a reason why Orochimaru took him in. Unfortunately, due to his deteriorating body, he wasn't a suitable body for Orochimaru. His chakra reserves and control of them were far too diminished. 7. Ten focuses on using ninja tools. Of all the characters among the Konoha 11 who needed more screen time, Ten has to be near the top, along with Shino. She had a fighting style that differed so much from others. And it's a shame it never got to be shown outside of rare moments in the war and when she got completely outclassed by Temari. As her focus was on using weapons, she never had much of a need for chakra control outside of when she needed to summon them. 6. Mizuki couldn't even beat Naruto as an academy student. There's nothing more damning than a Chunin losing to an academy student, and that's exactly what happened to Mizuki, who was so weak that Naruto beat him with just shadow clones. During the fight with him and Iruka, Mizuki didn't show a whole lot of ability either, perhaps explaining why he was still a Chunin. Outside of using an earth release to hide underground, Mizuki never showed that he was capable of more than basic chakra control. 5. Iruka has a lot of knowledge, but not a lot of talent. It can be assumed that Iruka had to be at least average in everything he did, or he wouldn't have been an academy teacher, but that never shown in practice. Beyond being Naruto's father figure, he even managed to lose to Mizuki, needing his student to save him. Outside of his light barrier, Iruka never used many jutsu either, proving he was better as a teacher than a combatant. 4. Dosu Kinyuta needed an echo speaker to fight properly. As with most members of Team Dosu, he wasn't the strongest ninja around, nor did he have an expansive amount of chakra control. As the team leader, his were marginally better than the rest of his team, focused on the use of sound waves and how he could manipulate them. While handy, it required the use of an echo speaker on his arm to utilize in combat. He helped make up for some of this with his intelligence, but it still made him one of the weaker characters in the series. 3. Zaku Abumi was genetically altered to propel air through his palms. Zaku was one of the sound genin tasked with defeating Sasuke at the Chunin exams. His abilities centered around the genetic enhancements he had that let him fire airwaves through his palms at his opponents. It was a decent trick to have that required marginal chakra control. However, it was all he had, making him a complete one-trick pony that Shino exposed during their match in the preliminaries when he clogged the tubes. 2. Kintsuchi had one jutsu that was based on sound. As with Dosu, her ability was based around sound, using the ringing of bells on her senbon to disorient foes and cast a genjutsu on them that made the opponent see multiple copies of her. While it was an interesting ability for a genin, it was all she had beyond throwing the senbon at people. She was, in essence, a far weaker version of Tenten. That alone says all that needs to be said about her chakra control, as Tenten was far from a powerhouse. 1. Rock Lee can only use basic chakra control. Rock Lee is the most lacking character in the chakra control department. He was so poor at it that it was part of his character, forcing him to prove that taijutsu could be just as good as ninjutsu was. It's something he managed to show time and time again, making him one of the better side characters in the whole series. He had a goofiness that paired perfectly with his desire to always prove himself.